Hi everyone, I welcome in today's lecture. So this lecture is related to uh, how we can convert the graduate research thesis into research paper. So why I am going to recap this lecture based on my 1.5 decade teaching and research experience. I have supervised a huge amount of significant amount of undergraduate, postgraduate, and graduate level thesis, and almost 90% students don't follow their work after completing their degree. Even they have spent 1 year, more than 1 year on their research, but this all effort uh, goes with the completion of their defense. After that, their work, they keep their work in their laptop and they forget. And the idea is they are probably most of them are unaware how they have to convert their thesis into research paper. Few of them normally can go for the publication of their work into good journal, or they normally go for the conferences if their supervisor push them and help them to extract the research paper from the thesis. So as I have mentioned that the undergraduate or graduate level student, they normally do research first time in their studies, and they normally spend 1.5 year or 1 year on their thesis. So if their research findings are not disseminated in different forums, so it means their effort is lost, and they have just met the requirement to complete their degree. I think it's not enough after completing their research, after because once they have defended their thesis, they are more motivated, they are more energetic, and they have the proper understanding of their work, and normally they have the feedback from the juries or evaluators or the panel during their defense, and they can improve the quality of work, and with the support of supervisors and their own will and having the awareness, then they can convert their thesis into research paper. And why then they can go for the dissemination of their work into different forums like conferences. After extracting the paper from their thesis, they can go for the dissemination of their work by presenting in different conferences within the country, or even they can, if they are having the funding, they can travel to overseas, and they can present their work into international conferences. But how? Once after completing the master degree, I think 10%, 20% students normally seek for higher degrees by research. So they must be having the basic understanding, or they must be having the know-how of research work, if they're because they have done with the thesis, 6 credit hour thesis, 3 credit hour work, 1 year they have spent on research, but they are not mature to get admission for PhD or higher degrees by research if they are interested, until they don't have to bridge this gap by going through presenting their work in different conferences. So what is the benefit? And benefit is already you have done the presentation, students have done the presentation, they have the feedback from the juries, they with the help of supervisor they can incorporate the comments of juries, they can improve the quality of their work. Then what's next? The next is they have to convert their thesis into research paper, and they can explore the conferences in the country, in different cities where they are living. Then they can submit the research paper in conferences. Once they are, if their paper is accepted for presentation, then they can go and present their work. What will be the ultimate benefit to students? The ultimate benefit is they will be it will help them to enhance the network, to bring in the network, research community network, so they will be having more exposure. What is the overall research world, what actually going on in different research forums, so it will enhance their confidence, it will motivate them, and they will be connected with the experienced people, experienced researcher of the domain. Then if they're looking for some PhD or higher degrees by research, and these forums can help them to connect the relevant person, and they can have the confidence, at least they will be able to know what is going on in research field and what are the major areas, what kind of topics are hot and timely. Then they actually, this overall forums, these types of forums will broaden their understanding. They will these forums, the participation in these types of forums will help them to understand what is the requirement of the market and where they stand. Then they have to revise their strategy, and they can work in this in deep in straight lines, what the universities are looking for, what the professors are looking for. And this overall activity help them to connect with the top scholars if they are looking for some higher degrees by research, as well as it will help them to improve their confidence level, and will help them to participate in different research activities. So this is the overall objective, and it's very important for students, and it's the effort of 1 month, 2 months, because already they have spent 1 year on their research, on their studies. So they have to spend 1 month with the help of supervisor, so they can produce a good research paper which can ultimately be presented in conferences. In conferences, the student may get response or feedback from the audience. And who are the audience? And we normally have very experts in audience, and they can give a very constructive and constructive feedback. Then they can improve their work with the help of their supervisor, and then they can submit that work after incorporating the feedback which received in the conference. So they can submit in a good and good relevant journal, which will ultimately help them to publish. After publishing, once they are looking for any scholarship, and once they are looking for admission in good universities, at least they will be having the basic understanding of research culture. So I have few steps how they can convert their thesis into research paper. This all activity is for those who have just finished their graduate thesis and they don't know how to convert the thesis into research paper. So normally we have several parts. So first part is the title page. It's very general. In title page you normally have the, if you are looking for your thesis, if you're or you as you have worked on your thesis, we normally have logo, we normally have university name, department name, and year, and the level of your degree and something. But in research paper we normally don't write these types of stuff, and we normally keep the title page, title of your paper, title of your thesis, and you can write the title. After writing the title, then you need to have the name of all authors. So starting from the author 1, after writing the name of author 1, means if you are working in group or if you are working with individually, then you will be only one author, and you are working with your supervisor, so you can arrange the order or sequence of name. So write the first author name, immediately writing the name of first author, then you can write the affiliation, means where in which university you are affiliated to produce this work. While producing this work, you have to provide the affiliation. After providing the affiliation, then you need to write your email address. First author name, his or her affiliation, email address. Then second author name, his or her affiliation, email address. If you have three authors, then third author name, affiliation, and his or her email address. After that, you have to, for example, I have given the example, I'm Ahmed Imran, and what I wrote, what is my affiliation, Rabat Business School, International University of Rabat. My email, normally I use my personal email instead of professional. Well, you can use any of the email I will be suggesting, so you can go for the professional. So what professional or personal, it's up to you. I normally use the personal email address while corresponding while submitting my research paper in different journals. So then you have to nominate one of the authors as a corresponding author. What is corresponding author? So once you will be submitting your paper in conferences or any journal, so one of the journal or conference resource person will contact only one of the author who will be making corresponding between different between conference focal person as well as the team of authors. So this is about title page. It's very simple. It will be not taking too much time, but you have to you need to manage the title page in this way. After that, we have an abstract of the research paper. What we are doing, we are converting the thesis into research paper. Normally we keep maximum 150 words, keep it between 150 and 100 words, not more than this. So it will be only one paragraph, and we normally have three parts of abstract. So and three parts of abstract, what we cover in abstract. So we start from the broad area of your topic. Here we normally provide one sentence, a key economic argument in a logical way. So what is your broad area, means what is your topic and how this is important in today's world. So we normally provide the economic argument in a sensible way, in a logical way. After that, we provide the major objective, no bullet, just this is first part of your abstract. Then we provide objective of major objective of your research, what your research is going to deal. So after that, this is first part of abstract. Okay, so abstract should be one paragraph, and this one paragraph is having three parts. First part is related to the broad area, means what is the broad area, what is the importance of that broad area, what is the economic significance of that area, and then we provide the objective of our research. Second part of this paragraph is about methodology, and in this paragraph we normally write what is the data we used in our research and what frequency of data was used. Either it's the primary data, secondary data, if secondary data, so how many years it's been covered, and how many years it's been covered, what is the overall frequency of data, it's yearly data, monthly data, annually data. Then you can mention to whom you extract this data, and what was the your population, means which countries you have targeted, and what was your target audience, what was the population to whom you have extracted the data, means collected the data, and which industries you have considered, which sectors you have considered. So keep it general. So data, for example, we can say if it's the panel data and secondary research of any country, any sector, for example. someone is working on the manufacturing industry of Morocco, so what I will be writing, so data of Moroccan manufacturing firm is extracted from the Bloomberg or any source where you have collected the data for the period of 2000, for example, if it's the last 15 years, for the period of last 15 years starting from 2008 to 2022. And then we can also mention which software we have used for data analysis. Okay, normally we use Stata, we use if they are the secondary research. For if it's the primary research, we use the SPSS and MOS. This part, this is not paragraph. Abstract is only one paragraph which is having 150 words. First part is about objective and broad area, second part is about methodology, and third part we normally write the conclusion. This is only here we normally write the what we found, what is the major finding, so what we found in our results. So we need to write the major finding, and then we can write one or two major recommendation based on these results. So it will be three parts, will be combination of three parts, will be one paragraph, and the length of one paragraph should be not more than 150 words, and keep it between 100 and 150. Few journals are giving us the space for 100 words, few are considering 150 words. So keep it between 100 to 150 words, 150 words. After this paragraph, we normally provide keywords. And what are the keywords? These are the major central points. Means you can write your main variables, you can write about your main sector, industry, you can write what techniques you have applied. So 3 to 5 main keywords we normally write here. So this is abstract. After dealing with abstract, so I have went through thesis. Last week we had defense of our master students thesis, and I observed they have the potential, their work has potential to go in good outlets, but after what I felt the less motivated students to convert their work into research papers, and they as I observed, they are thinking now they have done their job, their degree has been done, they have successfully defended their thesis, now it's over. But this lecture will motivate them to go for the next step. So don't waste their one year's effort by keeping into laptop. It's better to present your research into publish form, and to present their research into different forums, and go for the publish instead of perish. So after dealing with abstract, we have an introduction section. It's section number 1. So normally we can have 2 to 3 pages, not more than this. So in thesis we are normally you have 10 pages, 12 pages, 8 pages, but here we have to focus on the most important, broader picture so of the introduction. So in this part we normally incorporate several segments into different parts, so with proper citation. So what we need to do here, so you can start from the discussion of broad area, what the major your topic is dealing with, major aspects you have to explain in one paragraph. Then we need to explain why this topic is important for today era, means importance of your broad area, your topic, how it's going to contribute, how this topic is important in today era. Okay, so here then you can you have already identified the problem in your thesis. Then you have to look at 1 or 2 paragraphs of the what problem is hand, where did you select this topic, what is the position of your topic, position of your paper or your topic in the literature with respect to relating with the academic literature. Means how much your work is different, how much your work is bringing value into the literature, you have to write 1 or 2 paragraphs about the importance of your work, which we normally have discussed in the problem identification, as well as how much your work is different from the available work, as well as you have already done with the significance of your research. You can bring few paragraphs and more focused and most important paragraphs in the introduction. Then we have one paragraph that tells us the overall position compared to the academic literature, so how your work is different from the already existing work, so it will confirm us the where we stand. So then we can also provide 1 or 2 paragraphs about the importance of our research, means significance of study. Remember, there is no subheading. These are the paragraphs. With the help of citation, we need to provide the recent studies. Post you can mention 2022, 2023 recent studies, 21 recent studies. Okay, so then we need to provide how your work is addition in the body of knowledge, who will be the beneficiary of your research, and how it's beneficial already you have done with the heading of significance in your research. Just convert this heading into a couple of paragraphs, but most important and most relevant paragraphs which should address relevant to the problem identification. Then we have next paragraph. It's about the objective of your research. What is the objective of your research? And then with the objective of your research, you have to write only the objective of your research, nothing else. No bullet, no subheading, just paragraphs. Later you can discuss the overall major findings, one paragraph about the major findings of your research after writing the objective. And the last, you can write the structure of the remaining sections. For example, you can write section 2 is dealing with the literature review, while section 3 represents the method part, and results and discussions are explained in part 4, and the study is concluded in section 5. So here we normally use word section instead of chapter. We are dealing with the research paper. We are converting the thesis into research paper. Now we have the literature review or research theory, or we can say that argument development. It can be 3 to 4 pages. If you go through your thesis, you have normally more than 15-20 pages. So we are going to bring the crux of that literature part, 20 pages, into 2 or 3 to 4 pages. So first of all, you can write in present tense, you can write the findings of previous researches into past tense, but I'll recommend write your throughout paper into present tense. So, and you can normally use word this research, this work, present research, present work. You can use word we found, we determined, we are going to analyze if you have more than one author, but it's up to you. So no subheading, but here we normally go for the what we normally deal in these parts. So first part, we normally discuss the baseline theories. What theories are discussed, what are the relevant theories which supported our research, and then we develop the arguments based on those theories. And here we provide the recent studies, findings of the variables, between relationship between different variables, your central variables. Then you can put the commentary, and you can provide your voice, what they have found and what is your point of view, and you can build the arguments. So first part, we normally discuss the baseline theories, we discuss the underpinnings. In second part, we can emphasize on the big idea, so how including what is the originality, what is the clear contribution of your research with respect to existing literature, means this is the commentary, this is the argument, how your work is important. Then you can write the empirical literature part, no subheading, as I have explained. There will be no subheadings, so we are dealing with paragraph to paragraph. I'm sorry. So we have to discuss the major findings of literature. What are the findings of literature, previous studies, what they found in the to determine the relationship between different variables, and which theory is supporting their arguments. So you can go for the mixed approach during writing the literature. You have already done with literature, but you here normally we need to provide the support with the literature, and we need to keep the recent studies in our work. So you can then you have to develop the hypothesis statements under the relevant paragraphs. For example, if I take the example of my students, which recently I have supervised one of the thesis, which is the impact of air quality on the earnings management, having few control variables. So she will be dealing with once she is going to convert her thesis into paper, so what she can write, so she will be having the previous studies of which they have investigated the relationship between air quality and earnings management. After discussing, then she has to support the baseline theories. Then she can build the hypothesis based on the major findings and the baseline theories, and after developing the arguments, so she has to build the hypothesis within the relevant paragraph during literature. And you can also see few research papers. So here you have to strengthen your literature this part by providing the support with recent studies and baseline theories. So then we move towards the third part, which is methodology. We normally write in present tense or past tense can be also used, but I will be recommending go for the present tense. So here we have the several parts. So first paragraph part is related to the selected industry, selected sample, selected country, selected region, and then we normally discuss this is actually about the data part. So what kind of data you have used in your research, and to whom you have extracted the data, which countries which region, which countries you have selected, which sector you have selected. Then we need to provide justification why we have selected that those countries, what are the problem in hand, why we are going to select that sector, what is the issue in that sector or industry in country or any that population related to your study variables. So you have to justify the choice of country or country's region that you have studied in your research. What do we learn from those countries, and what we don't know. So you need to build the arguments here. You need to justify behind the selection of that region, that industry, that country, that population, and those firms. So why we have selected this that population. So next we have the variable description. Here we discuss the variables with proper citations, with proper we write the formulas, we define the variables, we write the formulas, we write the proxies of the variable, how these variables are constructed, and with proper citation. And after providing the citation, after discussing the proxies of variable, then we need to develop a table. We need to develop a table which summarize the overall definition, which summarize the overall variable measurement. Construct a table of variable summary under this head, under this part, not heading. So we are not dealing with any heading. Okay, we are dealing with paragraph to paragraph, and see few published paper. Okay, see few published papers, so that will help you. Then we have the Mathematical equation, if you are the secondary data research, we normally put the mathematical equation. What is that mathematical econometric equation? So we have dependent variable, we have independent variable, we have set of firm specific variable, we have set of country specific variable. By using those variables, we need to put them into mathematical equation that is called econometric model. So we need to write an equation. After writing the equation, we need to describe the terms which are used in the literature in the equation. Then after mathematical equation, we have to write about techniques. We need to write about techniques, which techniques we are going to apply, which kind of analysis we are going to apply. So if we take the example of my students, so they have normally applied the descriptive stat to check the overall significance of overall summary of data, normality of data. So is there any outlier in their data? So first we need to provide the descriptive stat. So we need to check the values are in a logical sense. So there is no issue of outlier. So all the values are in nominal sense. So uh, after discussing the techniques, we have, as we have used descriptive stat, correlation analysis, then we have used the variance inflating factors and regression analysis by covering the static panel and dynamic panel. So you need to discuss the techniques which you have used in your research. So with providing the justification why these techniques are more important as compared to other techniques, and also you need to write the objective of each technique, why each technique is being used in your research, how it's relevant with the objective of your research. And you need to identify the importance of used techniques, why they are the best techniques and why they are the most relevant with your research. This what I was talking about, the secondary data. If someone have worked on the has worked on the primary data, so what they can write, they can talk about the population, which sampling technique they have used, what sample size they have used, as well as which industry they have targeted and how the data was collected. So either it was collected through questionnaire. If they have collected through questionnaire, then they have visited to the companies face by face, or either they have launched the Google form, or what was your approaches towards the data collection and how they have screened the question. Then they have which kind of software they have used. So you need to discuss these all things. If you are working with the primary data, the secondary data, the students who have worked on the secondary data means published. What is secondary data? The data which we have extracted from published sources, that is called secondary data. And primary data which we collect first time through questionnaire or survey or interviews, that is primary data. So these are now I'm talking about how the primary data students deal with this part. So then they have discussed about the questionnaire, which is very important part, highly important part of their research. So questionnaire means that is instrument which is used to measure the variables which they have investigated. They are going to investigate the variable, selected variable, how their measure is valid. So either they have adopted from different studies or adapted, or the question is developed by themselves. If it's developed, either it's normal, either its normality is checked through validity is checked through content validity, face validity. Then they have to check the different validity of the instrument, like convergent validity, discriminant validity, and then they have to report the result of normality of data, like Crown-Badge alpha, and they have to report the result of validity to check the validity of instrument in this part. This part is related to once you are dealing with primary data, and above I have discussed with the secondary data. You're not supposed to be confused that your research is is going to discuss these parts. It depends. Either you have applied the mixed method, then we discuss the both. If it's a not secondary research, will be dealing with the secondary approaches, and primary data research will be dealing with primary data approach. So after discussing methodology, now we need to report the results. And how we can report the results, there are several points. So no subheading, and we normally use present tense in this part. So we normally start from the descriptive statistics, and here descriptive statistics, we report the results. We have extracted the results from software, and we have reported in the report in our thesis. So descriptive stat, so interpretation is very important, logical, and it's not enough. We are just going to write how many respondents are falling agreed side, how many are towards the disagreed side, what is the value of mean value is like this, and standard deviation is value is having something this. It's not enough. So we need to discuss logically what the mean is suggesting. So here we need to discuss according to the direction of data, according to the characteristics of our selected variable, how these variables are being performed in the selected industry, in the particular industry. Then you need to support the findings of your research with previous studies and where you fall, and you have to discuss the results more economically instead of less statistically. So we need to emphasize what is the we have to develop the contextualization, what the values are suggesting where we stand, what values are suggesting where the our selected population, where the our selected audience is existing. So first one is descriptive stat we normally report here, and we discuss the mean, median, and minimum maximum value in logical sense. Then we need to report the correlation analysis and multicollinearity diagnostic test. So here you should be very vigilant while reporting correlation analysis. So here we need to discuss, yes, the overall sign between variables are as per the direction of literature. For example, two variables are positively associated in literature. They are having the logic that they are having the positive link. If and there might be another variable, two set of variable which have the negative relation. For example, performance and class environment, teacher performance and class environment. If better the class environment, so more will be the teacher performance. Or if we check the students learning with the overall stressful environment in the class, so this is the negative relation. The other variable is positive relation. So it depends which kind of relation is existing between the variables logically. So you should be very careful. Either the sign of correlation coefficient are aligned with the logic or not. Then we have to look at the correlation coefficient is having the high correlation, means strong association, or weak association, or moderate level association. So we should be careful. Either your model is not facing high association, means strong association between independent variables. So it will bring, otherwise it will bring to the multicollinearity problem. So you need to check the signs, you need to check the overall magnitude of correlation. Then you can report the result of correlation multicollinearity, which we normally diagnose through variance inflating factors as well as tolerance. So you can report these results and interpret the results logically. Then we have the most important part of results, which is model testing, hypothesis testing. So hypothesis testing, we have discussed the tools, techniques, which in last part, the techniques which we have used for hypothesis testing. So here you need to report the results. As I took the example of one of my student. She have applied the static panel as well as dynamic panel. For static panel, she has selected the fixed effect model based on the Houseman test. Then here she needs to report the results in nominal way, in a logical sense. As per the nature of study, attach the sample table, interpretation, and according to the theory, and support your results by findings of previous studies. So you have to report your results. Then interpretation is very important. Based on the interpretation, we are not having any subheading. We are dealing with major part, then paragraphs, and after table we have the interpretation. Interpret the results more economically, less focus on the statistics, what the statistics are suggesting, so what the statistics are found. So discuss what is the objective of that value, either it's significant impact or insignificant impact. If significant, so what's next? So what is the overall argument? Emphasize more on the economic significance instead of statistical significance. Then here you can also provide the support of your results with the theory, with empirical findings of literature, and here you can also discuss the local scenario. So what the local scenario, contextualize your results with the population, with the audience, with the industry, with the country with which you have already selected. So then you have to emphasize your results should be more understandable by the layman instead of using very technical terms. So layman explain why the results matter for readers, why these results are important, what the results are giving us the message, what we find. Even either that message is supported by the literature, already you have done with the literature. There are the major findings of previous studies, means empirical findings of studies. You have also found the results of your research, and your research, if your results are rally means aligned with the literature, then you can provide the support, and you have already explained the theories. Support your results with theory and keep them more economic institution for the layman who can easily understand your results. This is very important part of the results. Then we can have the robustness section of our results. Either our results are robust or not. For checking the robustness of our results, we can use multiple proxies, we can use different proxies, we can use different techniques. So for example, one of my students, as they have used the results of fixed effect, means static panel, and dynamic panel, they can discuss that, and they have also used multiple proxies of to measure their variables. Then they can check or either their results are aligned or not. So robustness means, please make sure that main findings, main results are robust, means check the with these. How we can check the robustness of our results? We can check the robustness through using multiple proxies, different measures of variables, and different techniques. So this part is highly important. To discussion of your results is highly important. Then we left with the conclusion. This is last part of your main body of your paper. It may be one page, okay, 1.5 page. So here we normally conclude our result. There are first paragraph. In first paragraph you can write the objective techniques which you have used. Then you can relate with what did you find, what are your major findings, and then you can provide the recommendation and practical implication of your research. Remember, no subheading. You can write only 2 paragraphs, only 3 paragraphs, and covering this part, and you can provide future direction of your research. So you have to focus on the more on more on recommendation, practical implications of your research. So how that practical implication can attract a general reader to appreciate your findings. So emphasize on the findings. What is the ultimate objective of any research? The ultimate objective of any research is to provide the recommendations based on the findings. So research, why we do research? We normally do research to resolve a problem, to bring something new in the body of knowledge, to contribute in literature, to solve the empirical problem. So if we based on findings, we normally provide the recommendation and practical implication of our research. Then you need to discuss the limitations and future direction of your research based on your study. So how your research can be extended in different ways. So this is about part 5. In your thesis you have many multiple pages of conclusion, but here we need to convert into maximum one page, more than half page, but you should be very careful. After providing the conclusion, we need to provide the reference list. Remember remember you need to cite only top journals, not the rubbish journal. So we need to cite the top journals. So here we need to make sure that all citations in text references which we have used in first 3 4 parts, means introduction part we have used in literature, we have used the references in methodology part, we have used the references in results and discussion part. So all citation, all in-text references should be provided in the reference list. So I recommend that we normally used so take care of the references as per the standard. So we normally use APA style. Then this style may be changed with respect to the general guidelines or conference guidelines where you are going to submit. So first you have to convert your thesis, your paper, in a general way. Once you are targeting any conference, any reference, then read the author guideline. Then you need to redress your paper as per the guideline. So then here, then you have, I also just always manage your reference through a software like Mendeley, Zotero, EndNote. There are several softwares who can which can help you to manage your software, because it will save your time. Once you have done with your reference list with using different softwares, which will ultimately help you to convert your referencing style into any other style. For example, you have used APA style, but the journalist required MLS style, Chicago style, Throbian style, okay, or any other style. Then you can convert your references in one click. If you're handling your references manually, it will take you a lot of time. I will also just provide the DOIs of each references. Here you need to take care that journal name, author name, topic, volume number, issue number, page number of the papers are properly written in the references. And DOI also provide the DOIs of references. As you see, once we have different research paper, at the end there is a link. There is a link, blue link, and if we click on that link, and it takes us to the paper site. So that is called DOI. It's normally available for our papers which are published in good journals. So we need to provide the DOI at the end of each reference. So points to be carefully considered. So take care that there should be no grammatical mistake. Okay, we should be vigilant. Once you have converted your paper, make a careful proofread that there is no grammatical mistake in your paper. So keep the sentences very simple, short, and straightforward. The most important is your understanding. If you are understanding well, then keep it clearly, keep it simple, keep it very short. Don't use very long sentences. This is not appreciated. And once you have converted your paper into your thesis into research paper, read it carefully for many times, couple of times, then proofread, then you can finish your work. Okay, after that, now your work has been your thesis has been converted into paper. So what's next? Next is the dissemination of your work. How you can disseminate, how you can share the findings of your work with the audience, with the different forums. So first forum for graduate thesis is the conferences. Most important forum for the graduate thesis conferences. I recommend my students normally go for the conferences. So I will suggest go for the conference. Explore conferences in your country near in near future, which are going to be held in near future. For example, if I take the example of Morocco, in July we have conference in Casablanca as well as in Fez and in Marrakesh. So you can explore the website of universities. There are several conferences. Or simply write the conferences in Morocco. So then you can submit your paper into conference. Okay, what is the benefit? We will take the comments from expert. You will be there with the research community. It will broaden your understanding. It will enhance your confidence. It will bring the opportunity to connect with the experts. So if you're looking for higher degrees admission, so it is the first step that will that may connect to the top scholars, and that may give the weight to your CV once you are writing in the CV that you have presented the paper in this conference. And then after presenting the paper in conferences, it will you will be getting you will be getting certificate, or you might get some few souvenirs. If your work is really good, your work can be go for the best paper award, and your work can be can make place under the category of student best paper award and something. So it's better. You have to disseminate the findings of your work. You have to present your work in different forums. So once you are getting the comments or feedback from the expert, then discuss with your supervisor within your team, then revise your work, incorporate the comments, and then you submit in a relevant journal, in a reasonable journal. So for journal, if it may be accepted, it may be rejected, then at least it will give you a rich experience, and it will give you the overall direction how you can improve your work. So then how we can submit the work into different journals. I am providing this link, and I have a detailed video. This is for beginner, not for people who are already done with research papers, and this is mostly for the undergraduate students or postgraduate students or graduate students who just finished their thesis and don't know how to sell their work. So you need to sell your work into conferences as well as into journal. So this link will give you the detailed information how you can submit your paper into different journals. So I will provide these steps by step information in the description. I'm very sure and I'm confident this lecture will help my students as well as your students to convert your paper into thesis, and then many avenues will be open for your success. I wish you best of luck and see you in next talk. Thank you.